Hey y'all, many of you love my gluten-free cinnamon rolls and I do too, but for those of y'all that want to take it over the top, I give you the best next level cinnamon rolls of your life. I've added some extras and different techniques to the original recipe, and these are the softest, squishiest cinnamon rolls you will ever have, gluten-free or not. I'm serious. My husband and son aren't gluten-free and they swear these are better than Cinnabon. So let me quit talking and we can get to making these babies. I didn't make a change at all to the dough part of the recipe, y'all, because it's perfect and there's really no need. So I have half a recipe of my sweet dough here, which by now y'all should know how to make, but if you don't, check out the video above for all the deets. It's just a matter of throwing all the ingredients into the bowl and mixing, proofing, and chilling. For the filling, I'm using 3/4 cup or 150 grams of dark brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, which helps the filling stay put inside the rolls and not melt underneath them, and it also makes it extra gooey, and 2 whole tablespoons of ground cinnamon, which is about 15 grams. We want extra cinnamony goodness in these rolls. There's also 1 stick or a half a cup, which is 113 grams of very soft butter, and that's the filling. Here's another ingredient change, 75 grams or about 1/3 cup of heavy cream. And then for the cream cheese frosting, I have 2.5 cups or 313 grams of powdered sugar, about a tablespoon of vanilla extract, give or take, 8 ounces or 226 grams of softened cream cheese, and a half a cup or 113 grams of softened butter. So I'll set some of this aside for now because we need to make the filling first. Make sure your butter is really soft, y'all, so it will make spreading it so much easier. Because if it's not soft enough, it's gonna tear the dough. I'll add the brown sugar to that, as well as the cornstarch and cinnamon, and just mix this all together. It's gonna be hard at first, and you can certainly use a mixer for this, but I was determined to not get my mixer out for this one, y'all, so I'm just making do with a whisk. Once the sugar starts melting into the butter, it'll get easier. See, it's already loosening up. There, that looks good. I'll set that aside. I'll grab my dough now and knead it a little bit. I had already kneaded this when I made something else with the other half, so it doesn't need to be kneaded much. I just want to get it as smooth as possible. And as always, I'm using extra of whatever flour blend is in the dough, and that would be my gluten-free bread flour blend. I'll just roll this out until it's a rectangle that's about 1/4 inch thick. I'm more concerned with the thickness than the size because I want the rolls to have the same ratio of filling to dough. And if the rolls are too thick, then there's going to be barely any filling and like a big layer of dough. And we don't want that. We want just as much filling as dough. Okay, I'll grab the filling and plop it out all over the dough. And then I'm just going to use an offset spatula to spread this from edge to edge. But I'm going to leave maybe about 1/2 inch or so on the farther end so it can stick to itself when I roll it up. I love using the brown sugar in this filling, y'all. It really amps up the flavor. And the extra cinnamon also helps with that. It's just incredible. Okay, I'll just start rolling this up as tightly as possible. You know, I used to have one of those really quick little videos years ago on YouTube for how to cut it into strips, like you've seen a lot of other bloggers do, and roll it up like separately, roll each roll separately. And that was way before anyone else was doing it, but I found it to be too tedious and time consuming. This was just so much easier. So, plus the video quality was terrible. So I deleted it. Like I said, it was from years ago before I knew anything about making videos. And I still am learning day by day. Now, because these rolls are over the top next level, I'm making them huge, but you make them any size you want. I want 6 large rolls from this log, so I'm going to take my bench scraper and kind of pre-mark them and then cut them all the way through. They're about 2 inches thick or so. You can also use a sharp serrated knife or a piece of dental floss to cut them. Just don't use mint flavored dental floss. That would be kind of gross. Alrighty, let me grab my baking dish. I'm not sure what size this is. Maybe it's like a 11 by 7 or something like that. Just make sure, it doesn't really matter, just as long as all your rolls fit in fairly snugly. They're going to have some room in between them initially, but they will be snug once they're done rising and baking. You want them to bake to where they're all touching. I buttered the dish too on the bottom and sides. I'll cover these and I'm going to let them proof until they're not quite doubled in size, just noticeably puffier and slightly bigger. And at this point, you can pop them straight into the fridge and bake them the next morning. So this is a perfect get ahead. I do this every year for Christmas. All the instructions for that are in the blog post. All right, let's go ahead and make the frosting because we'll want this ready for as soon as the rolls come out of the oven. I'm just adding the powdered sugar a little at a time to the butter and cream cheese. And this might end up being way more frosting than you'll need. But remember now, we're going over the top for these cinnamon rolls. So we want it all and lots of it. But if you have extra, it'll stash in the fridge for another week or so until you want to make more rolls. Or you can use it for something else. Okay, I think you can see that these rolls have risen. They're puffy and they're slightly larger, but they're not doubled in size. And this is the crazy part, y'all, the TikTok viral sensation thing. I've heated the cream just to a little more than warm in the microwave, and I'm pouring it around the rolls and a little over the top too. And I'm going to cover this tightly with foil and bake these at 350 for about 15 minutes or so. And then remove the foil and continue baking them for an additional 10 to 15 minutes or until beautifully golden brown and huge. And you can see the filling bubbling inside. Don't these look insane, y'all? Just wait. You are going to be blown away by these rolls. But without any delay, go ahead and spread about a teaspoon or maybe a tablespoon of the frosting on each of the rolls. This is something I learned from, I think her name is Sarah Kiefer. She runs the Vanilla Bean blog. She said she always spreads a little of the frosting on the rolls immediately when they come out of the oven to get the softest rolls ever. It kind of helps to get rid of any hard, crusty spots on the tops of the rolls. But if you like your rolls crusty like that, then skip this step. I'm a soft and squishy roll kind of person, so I'm adding this to my rolls, and then it kind of sinks in, and then you can frost them again right before you serve them. So we'll let these cool for maybe 20 minutes or so. I'll see you back here for the best part, y'all. Okay, it's been a little over 20 minutes. I'm going to add another dollop of frosting on top of these and spread it around. I told y'all these were next level, didn't I? I don't want to hear any complaining about the sugar content or fat content. These are meant for special occasions like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, that kind of thing. It's not an everyday treat, y'all, so don't get all crazy. Oh man, does that look good or what, y'all? I can see the gooiness from the filling. Just look at how squishy and soft they are. I hate to use my fingers, but I'm gonna just have to show you how incredibly soft these are. Pull apart, gooey deliciousness. This was always my favorite way of eating a cinnamon roll, pulling it apart to get the gooey middle. But check this out, y'all. Look at how the dough even comes off in layers. Would you ever guess that these are gluten-free? Next level, I tell ya. You have to serve these on Christmas morning. And they're the perfect make-ahead, too. You can get it all done the day before or even the week before. There's instructions for freezing them if you want to. And they come out beautifully. Your family will absolutely adore them and thank you. Enjoy.